Hi, and welcome to another installment of Math Basics with Mr. Besh. Today we're going to talk about substitution, more specifically modeling equations and equivalent form. Now this is a typical 7th grade type of a math question, and they present you with a scenario where you have 64 crayons in a box. C is going to represent the number of crayons, and B is going to represent the number of boxes. And the student has to choose which of these equations best models the situation. Now, a strategy that I always teach the students and encourage to use to help identify the correct solution is have them create a table. So here's an example of the table that I'm talking about, and by now the students should be very comfortable creating a table on their own, where B represents the boxes and C represents the crayons. The first row in my table has a 0 for B and a 0 for C. And that basically represents the fact that if you have 0 boxes of crayons, you have 0 crayons. The second row has a 1 and a 64. That means for one box, you're going to have 64 crayons. The second row and third row, respectively, are 2 boxes, 128 crayons, 3 boxes, 192. So now basically all a student has to do is choose which one of these equations this table satisfies by simply putting in each of the values for B and C that correspond in each row into each equation to determine which one of these is the correct response. The first of these responses that I would eliminate immediately is letter C, because in the equation you have a B in the denominator, and the first row says that B is 0, C has to be 0, and a student needs to know you can never divide by 0. Likewise, D is the next choice to be eliminated immediately, because now in D, C is in the denominator of the fraction on the right, and in the first row when B is 0 and C is 0, you would have to again divide by 0. And then finally, I would eliminate choice A, because A says that the number of boxes is equal to 64 times the number of crayons. And we know this is false, because the total number of crayons has to be larger than the number of boxes that they're in. And that's modeling equations and equivalent forms using the technique of substitution. I hope you all found this helpful and informative.